Welcome back to Classic Firearms. I'm Brandon. Today we also have John with us.
What's going on, everyone?
And we're going to be talking about the KRISS Vector SDP Generation 3. John, why are you here for this one?
So, I love KRISS Vectors. I think they're really cool looking guns. I think they look like out of space, kind of just cool. But I have more of a emotional connection with them because I credit KRISS Vector with pretty much turning me into a photographer, I guess you would say.
I did not know that.
Whenever I started at Classic and I was like super nervous about, getting into it, kind of figuring out what my role was here, Ryan handed me a KRISS Vector. It was a 45 ACP. It was a little different from this one. He said, go out in the woods and make it look cool. So I went out there with my iPhone camera, figured out what portrait mode was, did some angles, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can be a photographer. Probably not the best reasoning, but I just have a really special connection with this rifle. Pistol. I don't really, it's just is what it is. I think it's awesome, and it holds a very special place in my heart.
So with that being said, we're going to break down this video into a couple different areas. First things first, we're going to talk about tech specs. Then we're going to go tip to butt, even though it's a small butt. And we're going to talk about the gun. And then we're going to measure and verify some of those tech specs that the manufacturer gives us to give you the best information possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the tech specs. John, what does SDP stand for?
Special Duty Pistol.
Interesting. Now, there's a whole different system in here, and it's actually one of the fastest cycling pistols that I've ever heard of. I believe it actually holds the record for the fastest one, out there. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So yeah, we were working with a closed bolt delayed blowback system. It's really cool. It helps mitigate a lot of recoil. It's a very, very soft shooter because of that. And it's really reliable as well. I think it's a great system.
So what does that mean? Well, the action actually comes back and down into this little chassis piece here. We'll actually have a little bit of a GIF. I call it a GIF.
It's a GIF. It's not a GIF, people.
A GIF. And we'll show you exactly how that works. Really stinking cool. But let's go ahead and move on with some of the tech specs.
Yeah, and so another thing that I really like about this, it does come with a threaded barrel. So if you want to run it suppressed, you can. And you're looking at about a 5.5 inch barrel for this setup.
And it's 15.39 inches long in totality, which is very short if you ask me.
Yeah, and it also comes in at about 5.6 pounds. I wouldn't say it's super light. It's also not super heavy, but it's got a really, really good feel to it, and it's just an awesome setup. And then one of my other favorite things that I really like about it is the magazine. And the capacity, well, we'll just say she's in her 40s, like a cougar, if you will.
Yeah, we have to be very careful with how we say things on YouTube, and that's one of those numbers that we got to be careful with.
Yes.
So the Vector being in her 40s is not necessarily about its age, but you get what I'm saying. Moving on, you also have a chrome-lined 4140 steel barrel, and that barrel is black nitrided, which is always a good thing, and you have a 1/2 by 28 inch thread pitch here, so in case you wanted to know that as well.
Well, I think before we go any further, we should go tip to butt on this thing.
Tip to butt, let's do it. So we did talk about there is actually a thread protector on here, so you can see that. I don't want to stand here for 10 minutes and actually do that, but to each their own. I do notice right away up front, this thing is boxy. So when you're holding it, you are going to, it's pretty large to hold. You do have M-lock, and this is aluminum down here on this M-lock portion.
That's what I was going to say, because now I don't know if you would want to do this, but there are M-lock slots down here as well. So, I mean, like you mentioned here, if you want to put a light or something on here, you could do that. Granted, I don't know if I would really want to put a grip here. You maybe could do a hand stop, depending on if you SBR it, if you want to do a vert grip. But personally, just grabbing it here just feels really, really solid, and maybe a small hand stop there to keep me from maybe pushing up into the barrel, but yeah.
Fair enough. John's opinions, everybody, in case anybody asked for it in the comments below. And you do have a full Picatinny rail up top for any of those optics. It does come with 2 iron sights. Of course, you have to have 2 with one. It doesn't really make sense. In the box that are flip up, so you can keep them down if you want another optic up there, and then you put that on a riser so that way you can use these as well. Pretty cool. Now, let's go ahead and move down. So we already talked about how this operating system works, so it's kind of large in that regard. If you flip it over, you can see we do have our mag release, which kind of reminiscent of, what is that reminiscent of? Almost like a,
It gives AR to a degree.
It is close.
But it's I can't put my finger on what it exactly reminds me of, but it's very ergonomic, and I like it personally.
So the reason why I was going to say AR is not because it looks like an AR, because it definitely doesn't, but when you're grabbing it, I can just grab that and go. That actually is very ergonomic, and it makes sense. Now, your hands, my hands are small. Your hands may be bigger than mine, so to each their own. Your you may vary on that a little bit. And just up from that magazine, we do have that bolt release. So you pull it back. As you can see the orange follower of that Glock style mag, which we didn't mention yet. And then of course you can let it go forward. I'll show you on this side as well. Boom, you're good to go. So that all of your controls are really on that left side. So just something to keep in mind. Now the price point on this thing is just under like $1,400.
Something around there, yeah.
You can get them with braces that are more expensive. Obviously, that would raise the price up there. The one that we prefer is actually an A3 brace, which is really, really nice on there, and it works really well.
A3, shout out to you guys. Y'all do some of the best braces and stocks that I have ever seen on the market.
They're awesome.
Incredible stuff. Thank you guys so much.
Back to the Vector. We do have, and this is clear, so just to show you guys real quick, we always clear any gun before we ever start a video. I'm gonna take the mag out too. You can use Glock mags, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Your trigger. So as we head on back, you can see that trigger guard is actually kind of connected into the grip with the grip on the bottom. It's interesting.
One thing, I don't know if we mentioned yet, if you notice, this is actually an M4 or AR-15 style grip. So if you have other AR grips that you want to switch out with this, this is compatible so you can interchange them.
I did not know that. That is good to know. Now that trigger pull, I have not actually pulled the trigger on this yet. So I'm gonna just see what it feels like really quickly, just because I'm curious. I'm gonna turn it on fire. It does have ambi safety, so we'll take that off of safe and put on fire so we can feel that trigger. A little bit of take up, as you can see, and then a little bit of pull through. Bang. Actually quite a soft.
It seemed like a long pull too.
It was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, and the reset is, oh, it just pushes you right out, but a little bit of travel, but you're right back on that trigger, so you start that pull right back through. Actually pretty good. Now, as we talked about, you do have that AR-15 style grip, and you do have a 1913 Picatinny rail on the back. So you can put any stock or brace or whatever you want to on this if you're gonna SBR it. That's up to you.
All right, so do you want to do some testing of those tech specs, see if they are accurate?
Let's do it. What do you want to start with?
Let's do the trigger first.
Okay, cool. I'll let you hold on to that for me.
Gotcha.
Go ahead and charger. Wait for this thing to boot up for just a second. And now,
off safe.
Yeah. And now I'm going to kind of point this way so that the camera can see the full pull. We are at 0 right now. So in 3, 2, 3.78 pounds. Interesting. That is a little bit lighter than I thought. Let's do this. We're gonna do it 2 more times.
I think that's a good idea.
And I'll tell you what, go ahead and you do this one. I'm gonna hold it down so we have a little bit of a variance between who's doing what, and I can support it better.
Get that thing on there right. Here we go.
3, 2.
5.12 now.
Okay, so
this is why we do it 2 more times.
My pull may have been a little bit on the chintzy side. Go ahead and try that one more time for me. I'm gonna hold it in 3, 2. Bang. What'd you get?
6.3.
Okay, so we're roughly around that 5-pound mark. So at 5 to 6, which is your kind of standard duty pistol duty thing. I vote we go into measurements. And by the way, something about me has changed in this video. If you can guess it in the comments, I'll give you a like and a comment, because if you get spotted, I'll be impressed. Anyway, I don't think John even knows. He has no idea what I changed.
Did you get a new haircut?
I did, but that's not it. That's not it.
I was close.
Okay, measuring. So I'm gonna measure on this side real quick. We are from the barrel right at that 16 inch mark. I'm gonna show the camera so you can see it to the best of our abilities.
Why is there a mark at the 2-inch thing right there?
I don't actually know.
It's crazy.
Was that you?
I think it might have been me, actually.
Anyway, we can see that. And then now, far bigger than 2 inches, we also have, it's about 7 inches tall. So there you have it, some measurements there. Now, I really am curious about the weight on it, because I think without the brace, without the mag, I think it's gonna be actually lighter than we expect. So we're gonna have a cut. We're gonna walk off that way and we'll be right back. All right, scale is on the table. John's back here. I'll let you do the honors. Go ahead and place it on there and let's see what we got.
I'm honored. All right, what do we got here?
Well, we are looking at 5.66 pounds. So
that's right on the money from what we had learned, so.
With the mag, because I feel like that mag's heavy. What is it reading?
6.09. Nice.
So mag is definitely gonna be, and with, I mean, technically, this magazine, well, I mean, the gun's in her 40s, right?
Yeah, the gun's in her 40s.
That's gonna add a lot of weight too, but that's pretty much.
As long as you take care of yourself.
Oh, that was a bad joke.
That was funny.
all jokes aside, that is the final verification of tech specs that we have for the KRISS Vector. Do you have anything else about this gun that you want to talk to about?
It's a really awesome PCC platform. If you haven't gotten into it or really gotten into PCCs before and this is something you're interested in, I highly recommend it. I think it's a really, really awesome setup.
It shoots way different than anything you've ever experienced, and that alone is why it costs more than most, I believe.
Yep.
So with that being said, that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any experiences with the KRISS Vector, please leave a comment down below. We would love to see your comments. I know I'll be down there trying to answer as many of those questions as I possibly can. John, maybe, doubt it, but he might be down there. That's all I have. So without further ado, God bless, stay safe. It is time to end. Now let's go shoot this thing.